Good morning. This is Nancy here. Are folks joining? Let's see if we can get this party started. Oh, very good. Okay, I'm going to hit pause on the. Good morning. It is Nancy Jutton, and today is Thursday, August 22nd. Today is call 3 of the 4 live office hours for the Get Your Sizzling Speaker Sheet Done August Challenge. And I want to welcome you live to today's call. I see Mary Ann is here, and Lori's here, and Denise is here, and somebody is calling in with a 239 area code, and that's awesome. If you have the chat function turned on, go ahead and type in a message on the right-hand side of the screen and tell us how it's going. If you're encouraged, if you feel like you're making progress, just say hello. Tell me what the weather is where you are so I can at least know that something's happening here. And we'll get this party started. As you know, we do this call once a week at 10 o'clock, and we do live coaching to help people.
Welcome to Zoom. Enter your meeting ID followed by pound.
I'm going to try to mute everybody. Let's see. I'm trying to see how to do that. There's always something to learn.
Enter your participant ID. You are in the meeting now. There are 4 participants in the meeting. This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, I'm going to, please mute yourself. Very good. All right, we're all together now. So if you are not able to join us live on these calls, the replays are posted. And even if we're not talking specifically about you, there will be a lesson that will be very applicable to your situation that you can gain from watching and listening. So don't dismay if you're working a full-time job and catching up on the replay. And please know that I will absolutely correspond with you in the Facebook group to get you to the promised land that was made when you joined the course. If you would like to raise your hand or ask for help, now is the time. So who wants to go first between Mary Ann, Lori, Denise, or who the person is that's dialing in on the phone? Go ahead and unmute yourself. Oh, Penny's here. Yay! So who shall I call on first? I think I'm going to call on Lori. Lori, you're up. Can you hear? Do you want to speak up? I'm trying to see what's going on here. I'm going to the chat to see if anybody's saying anything.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay.
Oh, yes, I certainly can.
So I think when I'm unmuting, you're muting and unmuting, but I think I'm here now. So so I finally finished my rough draft, and your ideas already have been amazing. So I know I'm going to start reworking that. Yeah, I've got some work to do because, of course, I'm not looking at this as going out and doing it as a job or a full-time gig. I'm doing my free speech, and who knows where it's going to take me. But I love the ideas, and it's already generating some thoughts on how I can change things. And then my next big challenge, once I get through this, will be to actually write the speech for the presentation that I have to give. So I might be calling on you, Nancy, for more professional help to help me with that whole process.
Well, I would be delighted. I do have a special private coaching thing that I'm offering to everybody who's in this course. If you're interested, I'll share the link with you so you can get excited about it, because it's surprisingly high value and easy on the pocketbook as well. But so everyone has the benefit of what it is we're talking about, who, if they haven't yet watched the Facebook comments, you help women succeed in the HVIC business. And you've come about this through a rather long and windy and unexpected path by being a McDonald's franchisee with a $10 million business, owning 2 Pandora jewelry stores. And now you are focusing on growth and development for Eagle Pipe and Mechanical, which is just like a really crazy way to bring on the heat in this stage of your life, right?
Yes.
And so as I was reading this, I was just looking for fun ways to make linkages if you will, with the pipes, what are the common characteristics between being a successful quick service restaurant franchisee, someone who's in the jewelry business that's bringing bling, and doing pipes? I mean, there's a story there that's interesting if you bring it out, so that people will say, wow, we are really lucky today to hear from someone who proves that success in one path can absolutely lead to success in many others, and what are the qualities and characteristics that make that doable for others. And so with regard to you creating your talk, you said you want to connect, join, unite, cultivate, grow, have curiosity to learn. Those are kind of generic comments. And so when you're creating your talk, if you're offering 3 uncommon ways for women to succeed in a male-dominated business and how doing so can be their finest hour in life, that already makes it sizzle more than helping women to succeed in the HVAC business, right?
Oh, that's correct. And those 3 were pulled out because that's the theme of the conference that I'm speaking at. Those are the only reasons why I listed those 3, because I was trying to pull in specifically.
Well, so here's what's sort of fun about that is you're in the HVAC business and there's something to do with pipes, right?
Yeah.
Eagle pipe and mechanical, where you're talking about ways to connect and beyond the pipes. You see, I'm trying to do some clever wordplay there.
Sure.
But you can have some fun with that. And remember, you don't want to overdo the fun, because content over cute has to be the rule for clarity. But what I was noticing about what you had here is it was just sort of straightforward. And I want to create better linkages between your desire to travel and who knew, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Just put more personality in it.
Okay.
Yeah. So is that helpful?
It's very helpful. And like I said, I think I can work with a lot of the great tips and ideas. And I know we have one more next week, but send through that link, because I'll absolutely be connecting with you, because I have to get the speech written and be ready to go by September 25th. So it's coming up soon.
Yes. Okay. I'm excited to do that. And I'm challenging you. Write 3 bullet points that are full of intrigue and curiosity that suggest what the audience will take away so that they can have, be, or do something that they didn't think they could do before.
Okay.
And if you write those 3 bullet points, what do you know? That becomes the outline for your talk.
Okay.
How long of a talk is it?
45 minutes.
Okay. So I also have something called the Signature Talk Delivery Cheat Sheet. And I'm going to post that in the Facebook group. And I want everybody who's got a talk coming up to check this out. Because whether you're speaking for 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 90 minutes, if you hit on these basic points in the order that I'm suggesting, your talk will write itself. And it will create the structure that you need so that you can either expand or contract depending on how much time you are granted.
Perfect.
Yeah, I love that. And you know something? I'm going to show you. This is a piece of paper. And even though I've spoken a lot, I can turn a piece of paper into a small little Cliff Notes, and I can have it in my hand. And basically, it'll say something like, it'll have my 7 key points, and I'll be able to glance down at it throughout my presentation to make sure I hit them. And it's like following the yellow brick road to Oz every time. And the more practice you are with your signature talk key points, the more confidence you have to actually put your cheat sheet on the podium and let it go. And that takes some practice, but boy, it's fun when you do that. All right. So is that helpful?
Very helpful. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Keep rocking it. Your background is fascinating, and I'm just guessing, Lori, that even though this is not your gig and you've got this other thing that you're doing, maybe you don't need to make money from speaking and maybe that's not your thing, but what if you were paid an honorarium to deliver this talk and you could use that money to fund a nonprofit organization or something you really care about?
Oh, well, that would be awesome. And in addition to this, I'm what they call a ambassador for women in HVACR, where I'm going to go out and start talking to, some high schools and some technical schools. So this is all helping me prepare so that I could take, some young ladies that are interested. Maybe they don't want to go to college for 4 years, and maybe they're interested in a technical degree or working in this type of construction field where they don't have to worry about student loans and they can make a lot of money in the trades.
I think that's a hot topic. That's a hot topic. I love that. I love it. Okay, so signature talk delivery cheat sheet coming your way for everybody. And now I think I'll help someone else so we can make sure everybody gets well served. So who would like to go next? Maybe I should just call on somebody. I'm going to call on Ginny. Let's see, unmuted.
Can you hear me, or is it weird this time?
I can hear you loud and clear. I can see you too.
All right, I wonder what happened to my microphone. I am just uploading
Okay.
my second draft, and I've only gotten to the bullet points, and I've gotten to the bio.
All right, I'm going to the page right now where that would live.
I just uploaded it.
Great. We are multitasking. Here we are.
I am, and now of course I'm back here, and I don't have any video.
Oh well.
Wait, let me come. I'm coming back. Wait a minute.
I just upload. I'm just looking at it now.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, good. It says here.
And I used the tips that you gave me last time to try to make those a little bit more dynamic.
Okay.
That's draft 1. I need draft 2.
Nonprofit superheroes, always on the money to meet the mission.
You wrote that.
Nonprofits are doing the most important work in the world. Hone your superpowers with Ginny's most popular topics. Speak with confidence. Does that talk tomorrow keep you awake tonight? Learn the surprisingly simple steps to look and sound confident. Discover the 4 big tips to overcome your discomfort and feel empowered, in control, in front of any size audience. Take away Ginny's 3 simply powerful outlines for how I look, how I sound, and how I organize. Learn how to organize your presentation, how to practice, and how to present your best image. I love this.
It's getting better?
Oh, yeah. Here's what I'm going to say about this. The word surprisingly has got a typo, just surprisingly.
I'm sure there are typos.
Yeah, and we won't dwell on that. But I want to talk about your intoxicating, full of intrigue bullet points. Anyone who's live or by replay who's wondering how to add some intrigue and curiosity and wow factor to their bullet points might learn something from your example, because you're not saying you're going to learn how to feel better under the lights, which is somewhat generic. You're saying you'll discover the 4 big tips to overcome discomfort, feel empowered, whether it's an audience big or small. Many people want to know how to do that, and you're telling them what they're going to get to have, be, or do. You're going to take away 4 big tips to overcome these things and be in control. And since we know that speaking is one of the biggest fears that people have, way to hit the ball right out of the park, right out of the gate. You're going to take away 3 simply powerful outlines for how I look, how I sound, and how I organize. You might add so that.
Okay.
Because when you say so that it's like a volleyball setter, so that you can stand apart from your first step on stage.
Okay.
because that's what people want. They don't just want to be that generic, boring speaker that says, you know, that karaoke singer that doesn't have anything fresh that's new. But if you say, if you're going to stand out with your first step on stage, that's an outcome that a lot of people would want.
Okay.
So for those of you, sometimes we forget to get real specific about what the win is for the audience. And so it's a fun little technique just to say, so that you can X, Y, or Z, then you know you're speaking to a benefit. And then you have learn how to organize your presentation, practice, and present your best image. And that one could have a little more sass because it sounds a little generic still.
Okay.
So you could say, learn ninja tips.
Ninja tips. I like ninja tips.
or quick hacks, you know, because then people are going, oh, a ninja tip. But I mean, if we're talking about becoming a superpower, we must have
Okay.
power under the tent that we didn't know was there.
Okay. I like that.
That's actually kind of fun.
I'm also trying to find specific words to pull out in bullets in each.
I like that.
Bold
I like that
bullet.
because it pulls out the intrigue, the curiosity, what's new, what's different. Because sometimes we have a tendency when we're drafting a sloppy first copy, for example, to just throw it out on the page and just call it what it is. But then when you put it through the filter of what's different, compelling, new, or intriguing about it, it's the 4 big tips, it's the powerful outlines, it's the ninja strategies. Like, they're uncommon. Not everybody has the playbook, but someone who comes to your talk is gonna get the beans. You're spilling the beans to advance their success. So I like that.
Okay.
You got another one, 4 basic tools for nonprofits. Insightful adjustments that can make improvements, dramatic improvements in your organization. Get energized with these game-changing foundational skills. Okay, that one, the headline could be 4 basic tools to explode, 4 basic tools to create dramatic improvements in your nonprofit.
Okay.
Because then what's bold and powerful is we don't have to read any further. 4 basic tools to effect dramatic improvements in your nonprofit. That I think that would make that better. And it says my internet connection is unstable. Can y'all hear me still? Yes? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I didn't know. Let me go back to the Facebook page and see what I'm looking at here. Jenny is coming back.
Yeah, I just got a notice that says internet connection unstable. So,
well, let's be patient with each other and we'll get it done. So, insight, fundraising, understand the 1 key strategy that makes staff and board members good at raising money for your cause. I would put 1 key strategy, like bold.
okay.
Be confident and ready with no nonsense tips that make your next meeting more effective. Like how many? You know, at least 3.
Okay.
You know, specifics are terrific. Set yourself free by discovering how the simple, uncommon framework. Then people go, oh, it's uncommon and simple.
Okay.
Learn to use the engaging affinity game to identify people and partnerships that can help your organization grow. I like that. And I'm just saying that the second one feels a little bit, when I compare the second one to the first one, the bullet points on the first one, we hear something. I hear a door opening.
I'll be right back. No, it's my cat thinking that it's time to feed the cat, and it's not. I'm going to put him outside the door and shut the door.
Okay. All right. Going back here. I'm a big fan of parallel construction. And the reason I'm tripping a little bit is the first one, we have these very cool tips that are, you're going to discover, you're going to take away, you're going to learn.
Okay.
And then with the 4 basic tools, it sort of starts to sound really basic. And so what you could do is say 4 basic tools to explode improvements in your organization, and right underneath it, you could have in a line fundraising / operations / planning - people, and then make the bullet points similar to the way you've got them with the former topic. Because you're going to learn the 1 key strategy. You're going to learn 3 no-nonsense tips.
Ready?
You're going to, you see what I mean?
Okay. All right, yeah, okay.
Stay.
And then I'm going to the next one. Take care to avoid burnout. Nonprofit folk give and give. Burnout is our most common enemy. We forget to care for our own well-being. Remember how and become better supervisor, employee, or volunteer. So this is, I have an idea just comes to mind, and this is just something to play with. But when I first saw the word super, I immediately thought, ooh, what if that was an acronym? SUPER. S stands for superior supervisory skills. U stands for upper limit problems eradicated. P stands for performance in the best and the worst of times. E is extraordinary mindset. You know what I mean? But if that's just a fun little convention that can give your talk some kind of signature, sort of a memorable signature. I don't know if you're following me, but one of my clients and friends has a book called, it's a forthcoming book called Negotiate Like You Matter, MATTER, with a period after every letter. And she has M stands for this, A stands for that. And it's just a way to create a signature for your, it's like putting your brand stamp on something. So I'm hearing something. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's coming from someplace else. That one's not here.
Okay. I'm gonna mute somebody. There we go. We got it. Okay. Going back. So going back to you again, Ginny. That's just something, if it's not for you, you don't have to do it, but it might be for somebody else.
I'll try it. I'll see what I can do with that, because that one is, and that one is very basic, and those are pretty dry topics, but we can go in, I can go in and...
What if it says burnout eradicated? It's not hype, it's real.
Okay, all right, wait, we're on the third one now.
That makes it like, wow, how provocative. Take care to avoid burnout is like, yeah, that's like a, you know, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not covet my neighbor's wife, thou shalt not steal. Like, don't, you know, that's like a manifesto. It's something.
Okay. Burnout eradicated. It's, what'd you say? It's not.
It's not hype. It's real when you do this. Because what's cool about that is then we're speaking about, like, we're giving voice to something that people are thinking about but not saying.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of provocative.
Okay. And
adding something provocative is like, that's what some people call a head whip reaction. Like, it's counterintuitive that you know, wow, if she's got the answer to that, I'm going to make her session the one I won't miss.
Okay.
So it says you can learn 4 insightful steps to overcome overwhelm. You have a registration mark for that?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Overcome the overwhelm, yeah.
Wow. That's putting your signature stamp on something, and that's great. Get or energize to stay sharp and avoid burnout. So here again, specifics are terrific. 4, 3 uncommon ways to get energized even when your tank is empty. What do you think of that?
Energize when your tank is empty?
Even when your tank is empty. If you have the answer to that, people will be interested. Even when you feel that you can't find a new gear. How to find a new gear when you feel stuck in neutral. I'm just playing with words to put more sizzle in the
And I'm recording them.
Oh, very good. Discover the inspiring secret to getting what you need from your work so you have more energy to give back, more passion to give back, more a whole new gear to give back, a whole new world. I don't know, but I'm looking for something a little more,
Yeah, I get it.
He delivers these high energy relevant topics as keynotes or workshops of varying lengths. Presentations include worksheets and interactive feedback. And then presentations include worksheets and interactive feedback and are rewarded with raves and invitations to return to work her magic. What I'm trying to do there is to suggest that this isn't just something you do, it's something that once you do it, they can't get enough. You see how that's a benefit?
Yes, yes.
So then it says, I'm going to read some of this other stuff here. Ginny Lang is a riveting speaker and trainer and expert.
This was really hard to write. I did the thing. It's really hard to do this.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to write. It's the hardest thing we do to describe ourselves in a way that feels aligned and good and not too braggadocious. And I mean, is that resonating?
Yeah.
So Ginny is a riveting speaker, trainer, and expert in planning and development. Her easy, energized connection with audiences of all sizes and her attitude-changing wisdom and humor have motivated dedicated, mission-driven individuals. You could say since 2000, since 1995 or something like that. You can do it either way.
Okay.
Either way suggests longevity, but when you go over 40 years, you'll have to rewrite it. Versus when you say how long you've been doing it. You never have to rewrite it. Ginny's theater background and years of performance combined with deep knowledge of workings of culture of nonprofits give her the uncanny ability to read any room and give any audience a riveting and motivating treat. She's always a pleasure to meet, a joy to work with, and a fountain of long experience and expertise who adds value with every engagement.
Okay.
I love the way you wove your theater stuff into the benefit for the audience and the decision maker. Jenny's the founder of Lane Consulting and Enlightened Volunteers, a toolkit to raise the mutual benefit for nonprofit organizations and people who work for them. Nice.
And then I haven't done anything with the testimonials.
So I want to make a comment about the bio. Sometimes you can drop some names of nonprofits that you've worked with to add some star power.
And I think that for mine, it's not going to be names of people. It is going to be names of nonprofits. It's going to be names of organizations, not people.
So what you can do visually is you can choose the 3 most well-recognized nonprofit organizations that have benefited from the brilliance that you bring. And if you had logos, just that would be visually persuasive. And if you want to include their names in the text, that's an option too. But the last week or 2 weeks ago when we were talking, I said when I first started out, I was speaking for Blog Talk Radio and Mom Talk Radio, and like when I first started out, I had these little things that I was doing, and then later I got on NPR and NBC and CBS, and so wherever we start isn't like you've been doing this for 30 years. Which are the 3 nonprofits that have dramatically changed their culture, retained volunteers in the best and the worst of times, and been your greatest champions and advocates to advance the work you do to change the world?
Right.
If
Okay, I will look, because I've got Boys and Girls Clubs and United Way and
yeah, those are good ones.
organizations
But
like
did
that.
you notice the way I also said, they dramatically improved their culture. They retained devoted volunteers in the best and the worst of times, and they found the strength to find new gears for performance, outreach, and contribution. Those things that I just said there reinforce the promises you were making on the other earlier topic.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so that just makes it like sealed with a kiss kind of thing. And then with regard to the testimonials, I've been consistently impressed, clearly presented, top-notch speaker, super knowledgeable and interesting to listen to. She demystified so many nonprofit processes for me.
I just pulled these off of surveys,
Yeah, that's good. So that's great. And these are like a B plus, and they'd be an A plus. Like sometimes you don't have names in organization, but I'm looking for the words here. Audience members rave. And what I'm looking for in any testimonial is any promise or suggestion you've made about what kind of a speaker you are, what kind of an impact you create. I want the people who write testimonials to reinforce that, and for there to be something memorable about the testimonial.
Yeah.
Right? So just pulling from air, Jenny Lang has the uncanny ability to demystify nonprofit processes into immediate productivity and results. That's a good one because it reinforces something you said earlier, and it speaks to the big impact that gets achieved.
Mm-hmm.
We're all knowledgeable and passionate about our subject matter, and hopefully we're all inspiring and encouraging. But what if it said, she knocked our socks off with her straight talk, humor, and insights so our nonprofit could succeed the next day. Because if you really do have a theater background and have done all kinds of performance, you have the ability to knock their socks off more so than any common, ordinary speaker that they might pull out of a lineup. Right?
Right. Okay. Yeah, sure, I do. Yeah, I do. Sure.
Yeah, but so yeah, because I love the handouts, knowledgeable, clearly presented. That's okay.
Well, and that's and those some of those testimonials are actually from classes, and that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Than and that's something too. You say I've been doing this for 30 years. I've been working with nonprofits, but as far as I've been a consultant for that long, but I haven't gotten up and talked in front of people.
So here's a message for you. With 30 years of experience, every talk is still a fresh opportunity to bring best practices, what's new, what's working, and what's working today to every audience. That says something, because you're not delivering. Sometimes people, they do the same thing they've done for as long as they've done it, and there's nothing new or unexpected. And if you're able to say that you're able to bring something unexpected and fresh to every talk, even though you've been doing this for 30 years, like that's interesting. Like it's not going to be the same old thing next chapter. It's going to be fresh and new and on point. And
well, you truly do. You learn from every single one you do. You come away with something new every single time.
Yeah.
So.
And they will too. Because your desire to raise the bar in everything you know and do inspires your audience to do the same. That is actually pretty good, even if I do say so myself. You know what someone has said about me, since we're talking about testimonials, and I don't want this to be too autobiographical, but someone once said to me, Nancy has so much fun doing what it is that she does that she has to call attention to how much fun she's having as she's doing it.
Well, that's good.
But
I think that's good. I think that you start working with nonprofits, you start working with people who deal with horrific things every day. And it's easy to get myopic about it. It's easy to get so focused that they forget that you've got to bring humor. You've got to lighten the moment in order to just keep going.
Well, and even with somber topics, she has a light touch that creates the breakthrough that people have been searching for. That's interesting.
Okay.
So I think these are some good suggestions.
Thank you.
What do you think? I should say that. What do you think? Are these good
No,
suggestions?
this is enormously helpful. It's really helpful because you know how it is when you write a lot, when you do this a lot, it all starts to sound the same because it's all the same voice.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts to sound the same. And I write a lot of grants, so my writing tends to be really, I have to force myself to put back in those adjectives and those, and that more colorful language that I cut out because there's not room for it when you're writing grants, when you're writing that kind of stuff. So I have to be conscious of it, and it's really helpful. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Remember, well, thank you for saying that. And listen, I think last time I said we have to know our audience and we have to communicate in a way that our message will be well received in the format that you have to work with. So when you're writing grants, my guess is that there's a certain recipe and a certain tone and a certain academic flavor that's expected.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go a little too far one way or the other, that may not be welcome. But if you earn the grant and you have the structure, I mean, you have a personality. You are not somebody who's, just words on a page. You have whatever you have to bring to the party, and it would be a disservice to the audience for you not to bring it. And so we all have to put some personality into whatever it is that we do. And I'll share something else too. I do have a way of speaking in sound bites, and things sort of flow out of me like music, and it's something that I've come to embrace. But and make it a tool and a resource for other people to give them a little bit of a shake-up. But I have had a couple of mentors tell me to tone that down or dial it back or whatever. And I think the older I've grown, the more confidence I've had to say to people, please don't ask me to wash my personality out with my presentation, because that would be disingenuous and the audience will feel it and I will too. It is what it is, and it may not be your glass of tea, but if it is your glass of tea, you're going to be drinking a lot of it.
Yeah. Well, you
Right.
can tell when someone is speaking. You can tell on stage if someone is authentic or not.
Right.
That reads immediately. That's one of the first things that reads.
Yeah, and if it feels like it's, I guess that's one of the things, the more women of wisdom we become, the more comfortable we are with who we are and how we show up. And if we're earlier in the journey, we might be stuck in perfectionist mode and trying to follow the recipe as prescribed. And we wonder why things aren't working for us as well as they otherwise could. So to the extent that you can have courage to be yourself, you'll be rewarded and people will know what they're getting, right?
Yeah.
So your marching orders are to just I think you're almost done here. I think the next draft will be pay dirt. And I can't wait to see it.
Thank you.
So thank you, Jenny, for showing up and being willing to take the medicine. And now I would love to help someone else who's here. And I'm going to call on Denise because we had some fun this morning in private chat. Let's see if you'll speak up. Denise, can you speak up?
I'm here.
Yay! So why don't you tell people what happened in private chat this morning as we were corresponding?
Well, I sent a desperate text or message to you this morning saying, I don't know what I'm doing. Actually, I have just recently created the niche of retirement as my clients, and I've been through retirement myself and gotten excited about how horrible it was and how I can help other people. But I've not done any speaking engagements on retirement. So this is something new, and you actually helped me this morning to create some words that get me started. So I really appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome. And I want you to meet Marianne Osher. She's also someone who speaks about retirement, and she's someone that I suspect that when you get practiced as a speaker, and Marianne's schedule is so busy that she can't accept all the gigs that she is receiving, that she's going to be wanting to refer someone to speak in her stead so that the audience can still be well served. And since you talk about similar things, it's good to have friends to recommend, because if they hired you this year and the year before, sometimes they're not going to hire you the third time. They want someone new with a fresh perspective. So a meeting planner could say, Marianne, you've rocked this talk 3 years in a row, but we're ready for a fresh perspective. Do you know someone who would be awesome? And that could be you, you know?
That would be awesome.
So, so why don't you, I mean, when you wrote to me this morning, you said you were going to work on your logo and you were going to work on something else. And so what topic are you excited about now that we've been talking? Tell everybody what you're thinking about.
Well, I've got two. The topic, the first one is 3 uncommon ways to create, let's see, I have it written down right here. Contribution, purpose, and joy instead of keep on clipping, TV watching, and boredom. Here's how right now.
Yeah.
And then the other topic is for financial planners and possibly getting in with them to help them work with their clients. But I don't know what that looks like yet.
Well, so since I just recently went through that myself with the CFP Board of Standards, you might interview, I mean, on the CFP Board of Standards, there's certain kinds of learning that certified financial planners have to do every single year in order to maintain their credential. There could be things like financial planning tools. There could be certain topics like estate planning. There could be things like how to, you have to look for some kind of aspect of their mastery that they need to maintain and achieve that you can speak to so that they'll want to come to your session and earn the credit. And so just having a bold conversation probably isn't enough, but like for us, oh, Marianne says, tell her it is G52 retirement savings and income planning. Oh, so you've already done this, Marianne. So there's a criteria where they have to know something about retirement savings and an income planning. Do you have something to talk about with regard to that subject matter that would put your expertise in the spotlight? In our case, we talk about how to get ahead of what if and God forbid moments before they become hardships. And we've anchored that to specific estate planning and financial planning organization rules of that they have to master. We've got a little bit of a dog barking thing, but You have to anchor it to what it is that they need to learn in order to maintain their credential. So, so thank you, Marianne, for being so generous there. That's super. Well, since we're talking about Marianne, well, Denise, before we go, Denise, do you feel that based on the interaction we had by private message this morning that you're in a much better position to pull your sloppy first copy together?
I was inspired, that's for sure. And I think it's helped me to think more creatively. I was thinking more practically. What can I help them with? Create a plan. Oh, that's very practical. It's not juicy though. So thank you very much.
Well, then I challenge you to get a sloppy first copy done. And one of the things I said to Denise in the private chat, I think she revealed that she didn't have testimonials yet. And I'll share with you, one of my clients who's become a very dear friend, Rebecca Zung, she just wrote this book, Negotiate Like You Matter. And she wants it to become an Amazon bestseller. And she wants to reach out to people with really big names like Oprah and Gayle King and Jack Canfield and people like that to write an endorsement for her book. And so I shared with her advice that I heard from Patrick Snow, who is a Get Your Book Done expert. And when I first heard it, I couldn't believe it. I thought, who does this? But apparently people do. I repeated what Patrick Snow said. Write 24 testimonials of what you wish the biggest names in the world would say about your book. And so I told Rebecca to do this. She wrote 24 amazing testimonials because she knew her content inside and out, and she wanted to make it easy for these big names to write a testimonial. So there's someone named Laura Wasser who is like this do your own divorce expert who's very successful and very much in her niche, and it's perfect for her. She wrote to Laura Wasser and she said, I've written a book, Negotiate Like You Matter, and it would be a thrill upon thrill to have your name and endorsement on my book so we could have this message travel to far more people to make its impact. Recognizing your busy schedule, I've created 24 testimonials that speak to what the book's about and the kind of impact it can make. Won't you choose one and then add a little sizzle if you feel so inspired? I can't wait to hear from you. And the very first person she asked, Laura Wasser, wrote back and said, I'll take testimonial number 5 and I'll add this to it. And she got what she wanted. So Marianne is writing a book, and she's probably got all kinds of big name people she'd like to have endorse it. Well, why not follow the same strategy? And the same thing with those of you who don't yet have testimonials for what great impact you make from the stage. What do you think people would say if they had the opportunity to hear you? Could you write at least 3 comments that speak to the impact you make that is what you want to lean into achieve? And then on your speaker sheet, you can say, audience members say things like, boom, boom, and boom. Just getting out of the gate, you can at least give the people an idea of what audience members say. And then after your first 2 or 3 talks, you'll earn those testimonials, and then you'll be off to the races and your confidence will be higher too. So if you don't have them, don't let them hold you back. Go out there and get them. And if your confidence is a little shaky, invite people to your dining room and deliver a talk to your best friends and ask them as a favor to give you a couple of comments or constructive suggestions. We all got to start somewhere. So hopefully that's helpful to you, Denise. So Marianne, it is your turn.
I don't really have anything to contribute except I've learned a lot by just listening. Okay. For some reason, I'm looking right straight into my camera, but you're not seeing my camera. And I tested it, and it's working, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Well, your photo is so pretty.
Better than the real thing, I can tell you.
I always call you Marilyn, and I know your name is Marianne, and I apologize.
It's no problem. It's okay.
So you decided to do you want to ask me about your bestseller campaign or any questions about that?
I definitely would love to hear about that. When Nancy and I were talking via email the other day, I don't remember how it got started, but she mentioned the fact that she had done Tamara, what's Tamara's name?
Tamara Monosoff.
Oh, yeah. her program to become, and it worked. Why don't you tell the rest of the story? Because obviously want to I need to learn how to make my book a bestseller.
Yes. If it's okay with you, I'd love to address that because some of you do have books or have forthcoming books, and I want to add additional value here if it will pay off for all of you. Before I tell you what I learned from Tamara in general terms, if you have a book, one of the things you're going to want to make the most of is your current subscriber base of people who are paying attention to what you do and how you do it. Oftentimes people say, how big is your list? How big is your social media footprint? How many people are paying attention to whatever it is that you say or do? Each one of us should take the temperature and take a measure of what that reality is today. How many opt-in subscribers do you have? How many are joining your community every single month? How many people are following you on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn? Do the math and ask yourself how many people are paying attention. Sometimes people say, I don't have a list. I don't have a social media following. Nobody's listening to me. And if that's your reality in this moment, then make a decision to change your fate starting today. Because when you have 1,000 people that are given up their email address for the privilege of learning at the feet of your wisdom, you have 1,000 people that can help you beat the drum for your book, your tuition-based program, whatever it is that you want to do. So Marianne, and listen, if you don't want to tell me, that's completely okay, but is your list bigger than a Breg Boss and smaller than a Toyota? I mean, what are you willing to tell us about it?
My email list is about 3,000 plus I
Oh,
have
excellent.
followers.
Is 3,000 their followers, or that's the email?
No, 3,000 is the email list. I haven't looked lately at my Facebook and LinkedIn, but both of them are, I think that what they say is 500 plus, and they don't tell you what the real number is.
Okay. So another question is, how often do you communicate with your email list?
Not often enough. And the solution to that is I've made a commitment to myself that I'm going to write a blog twice a month. You know, I've been doing that very sporadically. And so starting right after Labor Day, I'm going to send the blog to my list.
Okay. So thanks for being candid about that. When you know you will have a forthcoming book to bring forth, and your book will be coming forth when?
Oh, mine's already out, and I did do that as it was unfolding in last spring. I sent several emails, and then a big email campaign to them right when I launched it, which was June 24th. And then I sent the book trailer to them, and I probably should do more to promote the book, but that's what I've done so far.
Okay. Well, couple of thoughts. First, good for you for debuting the book, and good for you for relaunching the book. Because sometimes if you launch a book and you get a lackluster response or it's not what you were expecting, why not relaunch it? Because not enough people have seen it. If you could make a bigger difference with the book, what the heck, why not? Something that I have discovered that I'm just going to convey is that when I send emails or do blogs or things like that that are words only, my open rate of my emails is somewhere between 8 and 10%. When I put video in brackets with some kind of a intoxicating subject line, sometimes my open rate goes as high as 24 to 36%. And that's really a big deal. Would you rather talk to 8% of the people on your list, or would you like to talk to 24% of your list?
Great.
So
Video is an important one. You're right.
And so video is, sometimes people are reluctant to do video for a whole variety of reasons. It could be they're not having a good hair day. It could be that they don't have a cool background behind them. It could be that speaking is not their favorite thing. It could be that they've got all kinds of imposter disease issues. I mean, Jenny was smiling because she's nodding her head and saying, yeah, I've heard that. Heard that from all my clients that they're scared to death. They don't want to be seen. They're much better writers than speakers. Well, all of it. Up until now is one of my favorite expressions. Up until now, I've been reluctant to do video, but now that I know that as much as 24 to 36% of the people will open it, I want more people on my message. And since you're in this course, you're all people who want to speak more, so hopefully some of the fear around that is something you can easily sweep under the carpet. But the neat thing about video is, because you mentioned you have a book trailer, and that's awesome. But when you actually do what we're doing now, and you show up regularly in a Facebook group or on your business fan page as video, people can get to know, like, and trust you. And when you make asks of people, they may be more likely to do it because they feel like they're dealing with a real person. So on your phone, you can actually go live using Facebook Live. Marianne, have you ever done that?
I have not.
Do you want to know how to do it?
I would love to know how to do it.
Can I see some head nodding if anyone else wants to learn? Because I just wanted to show you how easy this can be. I have my phone in front of me, and I'm logging on, and I'm going to Facebook, and I'm just trying to stop something here. Okay, so now what I'm doing, I'm going to my personal page, because that's the one that I want to go to, just for the very first Facebook Live you're ever going to do, okay? And say you're going to, like, make a post. It's just taking a minute to warm up. You know how sometimes it won't let you do it? It's taking a minute. Well, basically, you pull up your profile, and then just like you're going to make a post, it'll say what's on your mind. And that's usually where you would type in, I'm attending this live office hour and learning awesome things today. How awesome is that, right? Well, you put your thumb on what's on your mind. And when you do that, there's a menu that comes up. And one of them is live video. So you can click on live video. And then here I am in front of my phone, and it says start live video. So if you're new to this, and I honestly did this 3 years ago. I never did a Facebook Live. I was nervous, but I thought, what the heck? I was out walking my dog, and I was in a sunny day, and I stopped, and I hit start live video, and then I saw that the light was on, and I said, this is Nancy Jutton, and today is my very first Facebook Live, and I'm excited to deploy this to my advantage. I'll be back with you next week with a new message that will hopefully inspire you. And then I hit stop. That was it. It's so easy. It's so easy. So you hit start, and then you hit stop, and then you put your phone down, and then you go to Facebook, however you like to go there, and then you'll see your video pop up right there.
How fun. How fun. I'll try it.
You can also, I believe, like I can go live in my Sizzling Speaker Sheet Facebook group, like I did this morning. I can go live on a Facebook page. I can go live from my personal page, and you can too. So if you've not tried it, Sorry, I'm going to give the person a message that I can't talk right now. Try it. Try it. See how you like it.
What fun. I am going to try it.
And so there's a step up you can do once you get intoxicated by the power of Facebook Live. I use something called BeLive.tv. And it's a platform that was created for those who are serious about going live with video on a regular basis. And you can go to BeLive.tv, and I think you can get a 14-day free trial. And after the 14-day free trial, you can decide which of the 3 Goldilocks options you want to choose. And I personally pay $140 a year for the opportunity to have the BeLive.tv platform. And why do I like it? I just want to tell you why. I have a computer camera on, that I'm looking into, right? I would rather be sitting in my office with my Life Goes On roadmap banner behind me, dressed the way I want to be dressed, instead of having to hold my arm out and wondering if I should be horizontal or vertical and that sort of thing. So I like that I can be in my office showing up. I like that I can go back to my dashboard and find any of my Facebook Live videos that I've done for my whole lifetime and repurpose them any way that I like. I like that with BeLive TV, I can actually type in URLs that I want people to visit as the call to action from my live call. I like that there's so many benefits to it. So if video is something you're willing to try it first with your phone. Ask people to comment. How do I look? Did you get some message? Did you get some magic from me today? Whatever. Have some fun with it. See how easy it is. And then if you decide you want to make a regular habit of it, BeLive.tv, it's a 14-day trial. And I'm not an affiliate of it. I don't make money if you buy it or not. It's just something that I think is good to do. Because the reason we started this conversation, oh, look, it's after 11 o'clock. I went late. I'm sorry. But whatever your list is, you have 3,000 people that are watching. What are you doing to make the list grow? Because if you're not getting new people on the list and nurturing those people, you won't have as much success as a best-selling author campaign than otherwise. You need to have people to talk to. So getting back to Tamara Monosoff's author to income formula, she's one of my dear friends. We could be sisters. We're so aligned in the way we are. But I bought her author to income program, and she had a whole module on how to become an Amazon bestseller. Have you ever bought into a program that made a promise and you did everything you were supposed to, and for some reason you didn't get to the outcome? Has that ever happened?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's kind of a bummer. I've had that happen to me too. I don't want to be jaded and disappointed, but I think she's the highest integrity person I know. She has 6 bestsellers of her own. I bought her program. I watched her How to Become an Amazon Bestseller video 3 times, maybe 4, maybe 5. And I pulled together all of the assets that she said we needed to have. And I pulled together a campaign that I asked for help. I invited people to support me. I did everything she said. I painted by the numbers. And you know what? When I did my Amazon bestseller campaign for Smart Money Moves, which is my husband's new book, at 5 o'clock on launch day, we were #1 Amazon bestseller in personal finance.
Wow, and that's a hard category.
Oh my God. I mean, and not only was it did you remember there was a commercial, Avis and Hertz, we're #2, but we try harder. Do you remember that one?
Oh, yes, very well.
And so I'd never attempted an Amazon bestseller campaign ever in my life, even though I've written a number of books myself. It was never important to me, but for some reason, with my husband debuting this book, it became very important to me. It was like something I wanted. I wanted it bad. So on debut day, we were stuck at #4 on Amazon all day. And there was nothing we could do to move it. And Amazon updates the rankings every hour on the hour, and I would hit refresh, and we're stuck at number 4. And I'm just pulling my hair out, and I can hear my internal dialogue, and I'm saying, number 4 for my first time ever doing a bestseller. That's not bad. I'm kind of like Avis. I try harder. Number 4, that's not bad. But in my heart of hearts, I was really fired up. And so because I'm friends with Tamara, I'm private messaging with her, and I'm going, what else can I do? I feel like I'm stuck at number 4, and I've done everything you said, and da-da-da-da-da. And then it was 5 o'clock on the nose, and we hit refresh, and all of a sudden we went to number 1. And I just had tears. Because number 4 was okay, but number 1 was really awesome.
That's cool. That is, congratulations on that.
And so I'm telling you that, not to boast or brag, because that's not my intention, but her program made a very specific promise that you could get to Amazon number 1 bestseller status if you followed her recipe tooth and nail. And I did, and it worked. So follow her on Facebook. She has a really cool Facebook group, Tamara Monosoff. If you have a book coming or you have a book brewing, she's the one I have a specific experience working with and learning from that delivered the outcome that was promised. And I think that's a pretty ringing good endorsement for that.
Indeed it is.
So I know I went long. Does anybody want to ask me anything before we close up? Because I didn't mean to go so long-winded, but as long as we're here, anybody want to know anything or ask anything? Or
I have some questions about BeLive.com, but I think
go
I'll do
ahead and ask me.
Well, no, I'll do some research first, and then I'll, because that might answer it.
I'll happily answer any questions you have about it. I
Okay,
would
great.
challenge you to do a BeLive, do a Facebook Live on your phone.
Oh, I do lots of videos all the time.
Yeah, well, you're so pretty. You're
Oh, you
so
know.
pretty.
But my stand-up and my husband records them with his phone, right?
Okay, that's good.
And then we post them on social media.
Right. And so for you, what I was going to say, a practical, tactical thing, your email signature on every email that goes out, you should say, ABC book is relaunching on June 15th. Go here to get the first 2 chapters.
Okay. Right now, the signature just says author of, and here's a link to download the one free chapter. Okay.
Well, where else can you share that? Can you share that on your Facebook page, on your Facebook fan page, on your LinkedIn? Everywhere you go is an opportunity for people to get something of value so that they can be part of your community. So if you're speaking in any way, shape, or form, you could say as a call to action, if you've enjoyed this video, won't you please share it with 10 folks who could benefit? And if we're meeting for the first time, why not download the Life Goes On Roadmap 5 Blind Spots report for financial empowerment? It'll get you on the path to awesomeness right away. Like, ask them to share it and ask them to go get it.
That's great advice, because I don't do that.
Up until now.
Up until now. Moving forward, I will.
Yeah, up until now, because I'll tell you something. I've always delivered a lot of value. We've all delivered a lot of value. But some woman said to me a few years ago, Nancy, I love your work. I love what you do. But until you have 10,000 people on your newsletter list, I won't promote you. That's that. So get 10,000 and then we'll talk. Well, as of yesterday, I have 21,455 opt-in subscribers to my list.
Fantastic.
Because that woman just hit me squarely between the eyes. Like, what do you mean? You're not going to let me play at the big kids table until I have 10,000 people on my list? That sucks. So I just got really relentless. Every time I go give a talk, I'll have a business card basket, and I'll I'll say, if you've loved what we've talked about today and you would like to stay in touch with me, I actually have a prize that I'll be giving away. Why don't you put your business card in the basket? And if you don't want to hear from me ever again, just cross your name out of your email off your card and I'll honor your request. Well, if there are 100 people in the room, well, 95% of them are going to say, yeah, I'll be on your list. I got some value there. I'll draw one of them as a winner, but I just came home with 95 new names on my list with permission.
That's a great idea.
So if you want to grow your influence, you have to be deliberate about growing your influence with every move you make. And it is a great service for people to download that first chapter, to download that useful life-changing quiz, to help them get in touch with the fact that they're clipping coupons and watching too much TV and numbing through life instead of leapfrogging to their next appointment. If you can help people start to solve the problem with whatever it is that you've created, that you're one step closer to having them wanting to sit at the breakfast buffet and have the whole meal deal, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. Tomorrow's name spelled, Tamara, Tamara, Monosoff. Tamara Monosoff, author to Income Formula. She is awesome. So did we get some value? Are you glad you came?
Absolutely. Always do.
So our next call, our final call is next week. And then again, I told folks, if you're not able to be here for the live call, the replays are posted. And I will be active in the group for after we're done to help people who joined us late. Winifred joined us yesterday, and she works as an elementary school teacher, and I told her I'll work with you in the Facebook group outside of office hours so she gets the full value. So let's, don't feel like it's a hard stop. I mean, I'm still going to be in the group, but I just want the challenge. The challenge is to get this done in August so you can be off to the races. And why would you wait a moment longer if the races were calling? All right. So thank you so much for being live on the call. I've loved every minute with you, and I will post the replay in the group so y'all can watch it again in case there was some messaging magic you want to capture for your speaker sheet. And I hope to see what magic can unfold in the coming week. So with that, I say thank you so much for being such an active, awesome group, and I will see you in the Facebook group. Bye, everybody. Thank you.